Suzanne Lyons here, and I am very excited today because it's tip number 2 of the 10-tip series on mission statements. I know we started on Tuesday, and I know it's been 48 hours since I've seen you, and that 48 hours you've probably been going, why? Why should I write a mission statement? What the heck's in it for me, right? Why do it? Well, I have brought with me, as I promised, my friend and colleague, Gerry Katzman, and let me just tell you a little bit about him. He's a successful actor with over 20 IMDb credits and voted favorite comedy teacher in LA 2 years running. Oh. Yay! Anyways, so he, like me, is a big believer in the importance of writing your mission statements, both personal and company mission statements. So I'm going to hand it over to Gerry just to get his take on it, of why. Why write it? What is it? What does that impact cause? And what is it for you?
Well, glad you asked. I've been a participant in some of the seminars that you've led over the years, like Flash Forward and your partner Heidi Wall's A-Team, and I found that when you add context to your career, when you, to me, it's like having a sailboat and letting your sails, when we're actors and performers, I'll speak mainly for that type of person,
sure.
But even if you're a writer, you let your sails out, but what's the wind that fills the sails and push you forward, and what's the destination you're heading to? And for me, a personal mission statement is as critical. You can't just have a boat. You can't just say I'm an actor. You have to have wind pushing you in a certain direction, and you have to have somewhere to steer your tiller. You have to say I'm going toward that, because if not, it's just a wide ocean of possibilities. So there's an enormous difference between saying I'm an actor and saying I'm an actor who specializes in science fiction and fantasy, whose goal is to enliven, enlighten, and entertain. Let's say that was your mission statement. Well, one is a totally different person than the other, because if I wake up in the morning as an actor and I say I'm an actor, well, there are about 1,000 breakdowns or 100 breakdowns that morning. But if I know that I am focusing, as Suzanne, as you teach in your course, there's such a thing as a hit list. Well, can my hit list be every casting director in Los Angeles?
Right.
That would exhaust me. I would be running around, and because my efforts would be so dispersed, I would end up kind of doing a lot but getting nothing done.
Right.
But if I say, there are 10 casting directors who handle science fiction shows. April Webster at the time was doing, when I was focusing this, was doing Alias, and she was also doing Lost. And if you knew, okay, I want to focus on a certain genre or a certain type, suddenly, okay, I can manage 10 casting directors, making a connection with those 10 people. And that, as we begin this conversation, is perhaps the most immediate reason why making and specifying what some of us call it a career concept, one can call it a mission statement, but knowing what your strike zone is, it lets you focus all that energy, boom, in one place, and that makes you a strong and effective actor, as opposed to just saying, I'm an actor.
Right. Yeah, I get it. It kind of forces you to really look inside your heart, too, and your soul, and say, what is the essence of what it is that I want to do?
Yes.
And who am I? What's the essence of me as an actor?
Yes.
And that focus alone. Also, from the listener, just, if you're ever speaking it out loud, that mission statement, as the listener, it's clear. It's like, oh, I got it. That's what that person is interested in the sci-fi, for example, or whatever. And that I get it. It's very powerful in both ways, I think.
Yeah. To the listener, you and Heidi Wall, your partner in Flash Forward, she had me do an interesting exercise. I've come up with and benefited from lots of exercises in mission statement building as a performer.
Got it.
And she gave me something which is along these lines. I was sort of floating around as an actor, and we started to talk about types. Now, that doesn't immediately sound like a mission statement, but if I am in a room with you and I say, Ben Stiller meets Jason Schwartzman meets Jason Biggs, meets a little Jeff Goldblum. Well, now that was a sort of a mission statement from a while ago for me. But suddenly you go, Gerry, I get see what you're up to. You are a kind of quirky, comedic leading man. That's what you're leading toward.
Oh God, this is so clear.
Right?
Perfectly.
So boom. So you can approach your mission statement. Another way I've approached my personal mission statements is I've asked myself, and this comes from this book, which I brought with me.
What did you bring?
I brought 3 books. Well,
Okay.
I thought I brought 4.
There's-
Stephen Covey's book called,
I saw
here it is,
Stephen-
here it is.
yeah, there, okay.
The 7 Habits of
Yes,
Highly
I've
Effective
read that.
People.
That's so good.
And his second chapters begin with the end in mind. He has you do a mission statement.
Yeah.
This is another more expanded book called First
okay.
Things First, and
I
it's
haven't read that.
about doing that.
Awesome.
And one of the questions he asks is, what were your happiest moments of your life? And suddenly, this was when I was coming out of college. And I just answered that question. I said, the happiest moments of my life were when I was performing at skit night at a ski camp that I used to attend. And also when I wrote the poem for my parents' anniversary party and I performed that. When I performed in the school play. And suddenly, when I added up all of these things, I realized community, where people were friends working
Right.
together, and performing, writing, and creating. And I was going to school for politics at the time.
Huh.
And I realized not one of those were reading the paper and learning about electoral votes. It wasn't about that. It was writing, creating, performing, acting,
Oh my
making.
God.
So by answering that question, what are some of your life's favorite moments? Not only can it give you a sense of personal, what is my mission here, but it can also start to, I don't know, it starts to point you in a direction, I think.
Oh, it's brilliant. It's
Yeah.
what I said in tip number 1. It can be life altering. That's why I was saying is not to take this lightly. This is something that individuals should do. We so think of it as a company, but no. Listen to what you just said. It shaped your life. It truly was life altering. Truly, it took you from one arena and the whole political arena you were going in and put you into performing, which was your real true love.
It was my passion, and I didn't realize it until I go a little further. It's Covey's other exercise in here is, and you remember this, I'm sure. He says, imagine you're at a funeral
Yes.
and your loved ones are speaking about someone in the most glowing terms, and then you look in the casket and you realize it's you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we do that in Flash Forward. We actually took that from Stephen Covey, yeah.
And you know, I realized when I did that,
Yeah.
I went, my life is nothing like I want it to be.
God.
I mean, I wanted my sisters to say I was a caring brother.
Right.
And yet I'd never sent a birthday card.
I hear you. I'm there.
And I
know
went,
exactly.
darn it, if I want to start to have the life that I want to have, that I
Yeah.
want people to talk about, I'm going to need to start putting their birthdays in my calendar
Brilliant.
and making an alarm. You know, now
Yeah.
you can do it so easily for 7 days ahead of time so I can get out the card. And
Exactly.
I don't do it 100% of the time. I do it most of the time. And when I don't do it, I give them a call and then I find something. But you by creating a mission statement, what you define for yourself, as you eloquently put it in the intro, is you not only decide what you want to do, but how you want to be.
Exactly.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
So the last thing I'll say, and then I'll go back to you, is that I did a course that you also sometimes talk about, the Landmark Forum.
Yeah.
And in that course, they had you figure out what your sort of possibility, who you are when you walk into a room.
Got
And
it.
I realized I'm wisdom and I'm kindness.
Oh, I love that.
And I'm also understanding, by the way.
Yeah.
And that by the way, that matches up with what I was trying to do with politics, being an ambassador, trying to get people to understand each
Got
other.
it.
But there's something that you as a performer or you as a writer, as an actor, bring to the table every time without even trying. So if I know that, that's powerful, that when I act a role, even if I don't intentionally try and do that, that role, that character, probably has a little wisdom,
Yeah.
or a little kindness, or a little understanding to him.
brilliant.
That's what you're bringing in the background as yourself too.
Exactly.
So that's an awful lot to bite off. But I mean, if we're entering the depth of this richness, that's sort of 3 things I would say.
I think it's amazing. It literally defines who you be.
Mhm.
You know, honestly, it's like, I don't think that's proper grammar, but I don't care
Yeah.
because that's really what it does. It defines who you be in life.
Yeah.
Who you say yourself to be.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's brilliant.
Can I add one
Oh,
last
that's brilliant.
thought? I'm so
Yes.
sorry, but
It's so good.
I've never, we don't usually in Hollywood get to have these types of
I know,
conversations.
and I love these conversations.
Here's
Yes.
another thought about this.
Yes.
So and I'm speaking to the person watching this at home. So let's say you know that, like, it was a big aha moment for me to go, you know what, that's true. Even if I'm having a bad day, I tend to bring a lot of wisdom to a room, or I tend to bring a lot of kindness to a room, or I tend to
Yes.
bring a lot of understanding to a room. And if that's true, then I'm actually delivering value. That means if I go into an audition, whether I do a great job or not, I'm bringing that. I'm actually bringing that to the sign-in room outside. Let's say there's a problem in there. I'm bringing the best I have to give. Hey guys, I have a better idea. What if we do 2 sign-up sheets? That way we don't have to fight about it. Well, if you know that you're a good person, and you can kind of clarify for yourself that my values, another thing that Covey talks about, write down what your values are. So if you know you've got values, your value is honesty perhaps, or your value is hard work. If you make that clear for yourself by doing this kind of work, well then here's the thing that's cool about this. So let's say I want to ask a favor of someone. I want to ask them to walk my headshot into their agent.
Sure.
Or I want to ask a producer if I can read for a role. These are, as you know, very difficult things to do.
Yeah.
It takes a whole lot of gumption to make requests.
Exactly.
By clarifying for yourself what your values are, you start to understand that, well, you know what? If I'm in a position of power, I'm always a good guy. I'm willing to help people. So I'm not as timid to ask people to help me.
Exactly.
Because I've made clear for myself that when I have the power, I will help others. So I also think in some sort of indirect or oblique way that by making clear for yourself your values and your mission, if you know when I get up there, I'm going to contribute to a world of wisdom, kindness, and understanding. When I get my production company up and running, that's the kind of world that we're going to be helping to create. Then I'm not so afraid anymore. I'm not actually asking for me. I'm asking for a world of kindness, wisdom, and understanding. Would you please walk my headshot into your agent?
Yeah, it gives you a whole different place to stand and a whole different place to make the request from.
Right.
As opposed to, like you said, being timid or whatever.
Right, it's not selfish anymore.
Yeah, I get it. And it has you be present, which is the best gift we could have in life, is to be present in that moment.
Right.
So that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this was so much fun.
Yeah, legacy.
Gerry, thank you. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I can't add anything to it because it was just too damn good. I mean,
thank you.
It was fantastic, and I truly thank you for this today, and I'm sure everybody else does too. It was brilliant. I can see Anthony nodding his head going, yeah, this is really good.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, and thanks for coming all the way and joining me today in my office as we go through these 10 tips. I truly appreciate it.
You bet, and I encourage the actors out there to ask yourself what kind of acting you want to do.
Okay.
If you're a writer, what kind of writing are you want to do, and what will the world benefit from your story getting out there, from you being on screen? And if you can answer those 2 questions, what is it specifically I see myself? What's my dream?
Yeah.
And how? What is the world going to benefit from me attaining that dream? It puts you well on your way to having your own personal missions.
God, incredible. I'm speechless, and you've never known me to be speechless. Right. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you for being here, like I said. And I will see you next Tuesday. So over the weekend, for your homework, I know I didn't give any homework on Tuesday. Gosh, that's not like me. I'm regretting it now. I'm having regrets. So for the weekend, just start to write down just kind of some of the stuff that you said. Look in your heart and kind of just start to write. What are your values? What's your purpose? Like, look into the future. Well, even do that exercise as if it was kind of way out in the future, and it's a funeral that you're going to, and somebody's getting up to speak, and then you realize that they're talking about you. What would you want them to say? What would be that amazing speech that person would be saying? And that's a good place to stand, I think, to start with. What is it that you want to have your life be about? So that's it for me. Have some fun over the weekend with this great fun homework. Yes, go to the beach too. I'll let you go to the beach, but not for long because you've got work to do, obviously. And I will see you next Tuesday. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.